to talk. So there comes a point in everybody's lives where they need to stop relying on their parents and go out on their own. Just know that we still love you, but we're kicking you out of the house. Alright, what's up everybody? Today we are going to be moving the baby chickens out of their temporary outside house / brooder. I've been putting them out into this box during the daytime just to get them adjusted to the weather and temperatures and everything, and then putting them back in the brooder during the nighttime just to protect them from predators. So now we're going to be putting them into their box inside the chicken coop. That way all the birds can get accustomed to them. And then after a little bit, once they get bigger and all the adult birds are adjusted to them, then we'll put them back into the main flock. All right, so let's get them moved over. As you can see, they're impatiently waiting to be able to move outside into their bigger box because they're getting pretty crowded in there. There's not much room in there. So we're gonna pick up some of these guys and we're gonna bring them over to the big box. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the different approaches to when to take your chicks out of the brooder and introduce them to the new flock and put them outside and everything. So my opinion on it is whatever works for you is how you should use it. But what I do, there's a couple of different factors in it. So take into account the temperatures that are coming up. So make sure that you don't do it whenever there's a cold spell coming. Make sure it's pretty moderate weather outside. About what the size of the birds are, you have to make sure that they've got all their adult feathers because they'll protect them from the environment the best. And then also you want to introduce them outside with the main flock if you have them free ranging. So make sure that the birds aren't attacking the brooder when they're sitting in there. Then what I like to do, as you guys are seeing, is put them inside like an isolation box and let the big birds go around them and just kind of get associated with them, and then eventually introduce them outside of the run and let them join the main flock. Alright, we got all the babies inside of their box out in the coop. Look like they're doing good so far. I mean, they've been in this box for the last about week or two now that the weather's changed a little bit. But now we're just going to let them hang out inside of the run so that the big chickens can get a little bit more accustomed to them, because they've been walking around the box while it's been in the yard, but now they're just in a little bit closer proximity, so it should let them situate each other a little bit better. Today we're also going to be taking apart the water heater part of the chicken coop. We've had 2 or 3 weeks of good, nice weather that's not been below freezing, so we should be safe to do that. But the watering system worked pretty well this winter. We don't have electric out to the coop yet, so we had to run a extension cord up to the house, but this summer we should be trenching a line out to the chicken coop, so we won't have this kind of crappy looking setup. This is also a warmer, radiant heater that we put inside of the coop because there was a couple of days that it got to negative temperatures. So let's see if we can get it to focus. There you go. That just gave them a little bit of extra warmth in there, so that helped them pretty well during that cold time. We didn't lose any chickens or anything, so we're gonna take that apart and store that until next winter. I'm gonna go a little bit over what I've got on the so I can keep the water from freezing. So first thing we've got is this plug. It's a thermo plug, so it only turns on under, I think it's 40 degrees, and that's attached to this pump. This stays attached all year, That's just in line with the water system. So that'll turn that on and start circulating the water. And then we have just a livestock water heater connected there, and that's got its own internal temperature meter, so that will keep the water from icing over, and that'll keep the water moving and everything with the pump. So it's been a couple of days since we put the teenage chickens out into the chicken coop, and about 3 or 4 days after, we had a little bit of a cold spell. So between that time, we put in a little staircase next to the chicken coop. This is just a bunch of extra concrete we had from ripping out the old floor in the garage and putting in a new one. So figured we'd put it into a little bit better use and have a little bit of a staircase over here. But after that little cold spell, we put a tarp over the top of them just to keep a little bit more insulation in there. But as you can see, oh, they're doing all good. If I can get the camera to focus, they're all in there and they weathered it pretty well. They've been super excited and a lot happier sitting out here in the weather and getting to roam around with the big chickens a little bit. So we're gonna leave them in there for another probably week or two, let them get a little bit bigger, and then we're try to introduce them with the new flock. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.